Making a self-insert to insert him into the main girl. Exactly. Exactly. Let me swap my account over because this one's gonna have ads. There we go. There we go. Okay.
In 2004...
Shut up. So, being chronically offline is the new cool. For a long time, the internet was this new, fancy, exciting thing. But there is, like, I don't know if I mentioned this, but I've seen a weird number of people with like a DS on the train. Like, it's not like tons and tons of people, but just more than zero, more than one. And this is like a relatively frequent occurrence. And it's weird. I don't understand it. For so long, that was like people just on their phone for everything. But it seems like there's a growing number of people that are interested in getting disconnected. Still using tech, but not necessarily being always available. What have you sent me? What is this? That is legendary design. That's incredible. I don't know if that's a meme or that's actually real, but yes. Anyway, Brodie, I never had a smartphone. I don't want one. For a long time, I didn't want one, and then I got one, and now I have one. So anyway, yeah.
In 2004, telecommunications company Motorola unveiled this thing, the Razr V3. With its sleek, sharp design and cool colorways.
I did know people that had these, but they look so fucking cool.
It became the most sought-after phone for teenagers everywhere. While I never owned one, I was a little too young and had to wait for the NV2 in 2008, it did mark the beginnings of a decade with a constant theme. Technology is pretty damn cool. In the early 2000s and 2010s, technology felt...
Well, I think what was different is, firstly, the devices looked different, right? Like, my phone's a... Can I reach the phone? This phone, if I show you, like, 15 other phones, you could not tell me. Like, the only way you can tell phones apart now is the camera layout. If I removed branding from this phone, you wouldn't be able to tell me what it is without knowing, like, what camera layout this has. That is the only distinguishing feature on a modern phone. And that's not just like an Android thing. It's with every single phone company right now. The only distinguishing feature is the camera layout. Everything else is fucking boring. But, like, this is cool. This is stupid. I think this is like... I'm pretty sure this dog's like a speaker, right? Is it practical? No. But it's fucking cool. And that's all that matters. It's kind of like that thing we talked about yesterday with the whole, like, Victorian design, right? Tech went through that in the late 90s, the early 2000s. And now everything's that, like, minimal, sleek design, and nothing is interesting anymore.
Like, this exciting thing to be a part of. We had Flash games, and Facebook, and LimeWire. But after about a decade and a half of fun, things started to change. Monopolies bought up everything. They systematically designed the products to be as addicting as possible, focusing on profit over innovation. They systematically design the products to be as addicting as possible, focusing on profit over innovation. And now we're at a point in time where owning more of the latest technology feels lamer than owning...
Yeah, this is the other thing, right?
Now we're at a point in time...
Like, this doesn't look futuristic. This doesn't look cool. You look like a fucking dweeb, right? It's this weird thing where tech has gone from being this, like, new, like, this interesting, cool thing to being, like, kind of fucking cringe, right? I don't know what it is, right? And it's not even like the tech itself. The tech itself is cool. It's just there's something about the way it presents itself.
Where owning more of the latest technology feels lamer than owning and using less of it.
Yes.
So let's explore this cultural shift a little deeper.
Yeah, there is this there's this growing group of people that buy up fountain pens, right? They learn how to use a fountain pen because the old is unique again. The old is cool again.
How we went from technology to touching grass as a signal of status, and whether this
also random thing, I respect this shirt. This guy has 800,000 subs. This shirt is like 5 years old, and it still is a perfectly good shirt. I know how long you need to own a shirt for the printing to start fading like this. Absolute respect.
Become the new normal in the future. Let's return to that pic of me circa 2009. Hey, first off, shout out to Aeropostale for absolutely carrying my wardrobe back in the day. If you know, you know, but let's examine my excitement a little bit more. I was fortunate enough to grow up in an era where information was democratized and regulations and restrictions on that information were scarce. How could I have not been stoked to hold a phone in my hand? This was about to become the new normal, and I was at the forefront of it. Part of that excitement, though, came from wanting to be someone in this new world. When you're young, you don't exactly know who...
Thank you! What the fuck is your name? How does Twitch allow that name? No, there's no problem. I'm just impressed that your account hasn't been banned.
You are yet, so you look outward. You want to prove that you're in the loop and that you get it. And back then, technology was the ultimate shortcut to that type of belonging. Owning a computer and knowing how to use a phone...
Wait, what is this? Grand Theft Auto... It's hard to see.
Technology was the ultimate shortcut to that type of belonging. Owning a...
Is that 2? It doesn't look wide enough to be 3. All the pixels are blending together. 4? Maybe... Is that what that is? I don't know. It's just one blob.
Computer and knowing how to use a phone were the early
It looks like 2
symbols.
to me.
If I wanted to download music for free for my iPod Nano,
I'd
either ask my older sister, who knew more about LimeWire than me at the time, or watch a classic YouTube tutorial with Darude Sandstorm blasting in the background.
No, that's no. That's no revisionist history. That's no, Darude Sandstorm is not the tutorial music. This is the tutorial music. I was there. You cannot lie to me.
Then I could show my friends how to do the same thing and everyone would be like, whoa, this shit is so cool, man. On the surface, this might seem like a new advancement of status, but when we really dig deeper, it's more like an evolution of the same thing that's always signaled wealth and prosperity.
This is not music. Music requires harmony and harmonic development. I don't know what those words mean, but it's a great song.
More like an evolution of advancement. Oh, this shit is so cool, man. On the surface, this might seem like a new advancement of status, but when we really dig deeper, it's more like an evolution of the same thing that's always signaled wealth and prosperity. Literacy. Before the advent of electricity and what came out of it, there was a massive separation of gathered intelligence between the rich and the poor. Much of the world didn't even possess the ability to read or write because books were still handwritten, costing thousands of dollars. It's a point I went over in much more detail in my post-literate society video, but if you owned books and other physical media and could read them and articulate your thoughts better through a writing practice, you had the most—
I love that anything written down that is old is considered important. My favorite thing is, there have been discoveries. There have been discoveries on old Greek buildings, even going back as far as stuff like this in like sealed areas where there's just graffiti on it, but it's not like modern graffiti. It's written in the language of the time, and it's like so and so was here. It doesn't matter what era it is. People have always done this, but because it's old and because it's written down, everything that's old and written down is generally considered to be important. I know, like, ancient Greek scripts gossiping about who did who. I have no doubt. I'm not aware of that, but I have no doubt at all.
Sought-after characteristics any human could hope to have, and were likely close to people with large amounts of wealth. Now, of course, when modern technology was introduced in like the 1990s, that still mattered a ton, but being technologically literate mattered much more, at least from a status standpoint, than owning a bunch of books and being able to read them.
Yeah, because if you could use this like early internet, yeah, like you can go to a library, but you can borrow books from the library through the internet. You can find things that are not written in books. You can do all of these things which books were not able to do. And at the time, this was like unique and new and cool.
Pretty much everyone could read and write. But what many people couldn't do is use Google to find exactly what they were looking for.
Or even pre-Google. Not like Google. Like Google's one thing in the early 2000s. You want to go back to the 90s. Using like pre-search engines, using like link directories, getting access to link directories through like IRC groups and other chat rooms.
They didn't know how to download games or music illegally, or how to build a website, or how to get a cool moving background on their phone with a physical keyboard. So these became the new signalers of being in the in crowd and being on trends before they became mainstream and everyone adopted.
I still remember the first ever Google search I did. I looked up Beyblades. I don't even know what the first one I looked up was. I couldn't tell you. I know the first website that I saw. I don't know. Was it the first website? Might have been the first website I saw. When my cousin set up our home computer, my cousin, who at the time was a software engineer, he showed me this. I've told this story before. He showed me this new website that, like, you could stream video on the internet. This website that, like, there's so much cool stuff happening here called YouTube. This would have been in, like, probably 2006 or so. 2006, yeah, it would have been 2006, because I was playing RuneScape in 2007. So yeah, it would have been like 2006 then.
Having the time and mental bandwidth required to spend hours on the computer was seen as something only reserved for
this is a great video. We might have to watch this at some point. This is a video from the BBC on, like, how to use the internet and what you can do with the internet.
Intelligent.
I'm young, I'm 27.
Person trying to approach the complicated user interfaces of the late 90s and early 2000s would find it overwhelming to try and understand what exactly was going on.
The information superhighway!
And you can see this reflected in the labor market during this time. An article from 2003 in the National Bureau of Economic Research found that those working with computers or the internet tended to work 5 to 6% more hours than other workers, and those who worked with the internet worked 4% more hours than those who use computers but not the internet. So in a way, technology was kind of gate-kept as a place for only the people who grew up with it, at least in the cool parts of it, like MySpace, Facebook, and Flash games. But just as it was with reading, eventually phones and computers became the new standard for everyone. By the early 2010s, it was clear the internet was here to stay, and businesses needed to adapt to fit the change. According to Brookings Institution analysis on the US job market, the share of jobs...
Yeah, this is like the big difference now. In the early 2000s and earlier than that, the early 2010s and earlier, there was still a lot of businesses that weren't online, right? Like, I reckon it was probably like maybe 2018 onwards that a lot of companies started having apps. Going back to this point, a lot of places didn't even have like a website. So it was still something where people were joining the internet. It was something people were discovering. Now everyone's on it, and it's like a normalized thing.
Requiring medium...
From that point on, the internet was flooded with ads. That's also true, yes. When the companies joined the internet, yeah, absolutely.
High digital skill levels rose from 44% in 2002 to 70% in 2016. And as a result, more big corporations started to infiltrate the online spaces we hung out in to have fun and be cool. Streaming services like Netflix and Hulu solved the piracy crisis, giving people unlimited...
Sure they did. Sure they did.
Options to get almost any movie or TV show they want without potentially downloading a virus that gave your PC the blue screen of death.
And now piracy's back on the rise because people don't want to pay $200 a month to watch 4 shows from 4 different platforms.
Blogs became riddled with advertisements as it was clear that digital marketing was the new frontier.
Oh my god, I fucking hate... Okay, let me just show you something. Let's just look up, fried rice recipe. I don't know how many of you guys, like, cook, but let me just show you the absolute fucking state of, like, recipe websites. Yeah, this is a great example. So, I'm going to turn my ad block off. This one, yeah, okay, this one doesn't actually have a crazy amount of ads. But we've got this video playing at the top here. We've got the name of the thing here. Then it's like some fucking life story about Tracy Rutherford. I don't care. Why our recipe is the best. We are now 2 entire pages. Oh, there's the ads. Okay, I knew they had to come eventually. Yeah. So we got, yeah, this is more like it. Okay. So you've got a San Remo ad around the entire screen, another San Remo ad, another San Remo ad at Kohl's. Okay, so we're at the top here. 2 pages down, and now we're at the key ingredients. We're not even at the recipe yet. And now, what, 4, 5 pages down? Oh, and another ad. Now you're at the recipe. This is the entirety of the web page here. Nothing else matters. Then it's like, what do I do with my leftovers? You fucking eat them. And now you have like a million other bullshit down here. This is one of the better ones, actually. There are... Oh, and another ad as well, by the way. There are so many others that are, like, vastly worse than this. Where you scroll down, like, 5 fucking pages, and you're still not at the recipe. And, like, yeah, bullshit like this. Entire screen pictures. I know what it looks like. I want to know how to make it.
For making stupidly large amounts of money. By this point, you could not afford to remain technologically illiterate. The world was about to live more on here than it was out there. Then the late 2010s rolled around, and the last couple decent places to spend time on the internet without feeling like you're being bombarded with corporate slop were about to receive a monetization.
Yeah, then this was like the beginning of Facebook games. Like, Facebook games already existed, but it wasn't like... It was like we didn't have the massive mobile game collection yet. Very shortly after this, like, you could still find good Facebook games. I remember playing fucking Quake Live as a Facebook game at this point.
overhaul: social media and flash games. Due to security concerns and the rise of mobile gaming, in December 2020, Adobe Flash Player, the plugin that powered
was functionally killed off a few years earlier than this, but yeah, at that point it was. I believe by this point most browsers already had disabled it by default.
Every Flash game across the web was officially removed from all major browsers.
We have Ruffle now. Yeah, Ruffle by one of the Mojang devs, if you don't know.
Now, instead of finding loads of short, enjoyable free games to pass the time with, you had to settle for heavily paywalled.
There actually are still websites that have web games. They're just powered by Unity now. Like, these sites are not as popular because, you know, you have games like Fortnite and a lot of these other free games. But there are still sites that have collections of free Flash-style games. It's just, they're powered by Unity.
Often subscription-based ones. Most major AAA games became riddled with battle passes, purchasable DLC and skins, and, of course, gambling in the form of loot boxes. The image of a crusty dude playing World of Warcraft in his basement was no longer an anomaly, but rather a very easy trap to fall into with most modern games due to their addictive and incredibly stimulating nature. And social media grew in a similar trend. The first nail in the coffin was turning social media from a place of community.
Do you remember when YouTube had image profiles? Channel image background. Like what? Yeah, here we go. So my very first YouTube channel, back at that point, you could set a custom image for your background. You could have like custom CSS. You could really make the the page like your own thing. But do you remember YouTube working with Flash at first? I do remember this. And I remember how much of a fucking pain swapping to HTML was. There was this period where the HTML player was useless. But, like, this is how YouTube was at one point. Oh, yeah, video replies, and then you had reply girls. For anyone who... Here you go. For anyone who thinks the whole, like, e-girl, like... you know, showing your tits to get attention thing is like a new thing. You don't remember YouTube in the early 2000s where it would be just a titty thumbnail as like a reply under a video as a way to like bring people to your channel.
I miss the custom CSS days. MySpace wasn't popular in my region, but me and my friends basically did the same customization on Friendster.
Ah, yes.
Community to discovery. When Facebook's wall and YouTube's homepage showed more recommended content than content from people you follow.
The main problem with the recommended content early on is it didn't recommend stuff you wanted to see. Nowadays, it's with how much data they collect on you, it's actually pretty good.
It was clear that shareholder value became the main prioritization of these companies. Sure, it helped smaller creators get discovered, but the quality of the content and how much that content got people to follow that creator started to matter much less than just grabbing as much attention as you could to boost oneself in the algorithm. And then, of course, we kind of gamblified social media too in the form of short-form content. Short-form content works on the brain the same way that slot machines do. It is a series of unpredictable rewards that usually give you just enough breadcrumbs.
I never scroll the shorts feed. I watch shorts, but I always intentionally click on a short. If I ever scroll my feed, I just close the app. Like, if I scroll once, like, nope, that's not gonna happen.
Every few videos in the form of a laugh or interesting information to keep you wanting to scroll forever. In other words, the internet became less of a new place for cool people to hang and more of an addictive, inescapable hyper-reality.
Someone else done a video on, there's no spaces for kids online anymore. Like, when we were young, right? There was Club Penguin. There was early Roblox, like before how it is now. there was obviously like Newgrounds and stuff like this. And these were places, and yeah, I'm sure there were adults in these spaces, but the majority of the people there, yeah, mini clips, stuff like that. The majority of the people there were spaces for children. They were spaces that kids could hang out with other kids. YouTube Kids is different, because you don't have like comments and stuff. But like these were spaces that kids could be around other kids. Now any of these kids spaces online, like Roblox is a prime example. I don't know what the average age of a Roblox player is, but it's probably creeping pretty close to 20. And like, there's like full-grown adults playing Roblox. And some, like, not all, I'm not saying all of them are weird, right? Some of these people are kids that grew up playing Roblox that never stopped playing Roblox. But I associate with Roblox with kids only. Yeah, you shouldn't associate it with that. It's not that at all. But with there being adults in these spaces, you also have people that are like, you know, creeping on the kids. And like there's nowhere for kids to be around other kids online. But that's not the way it was, right? When the internet was a thing that people weren't actively using, there legitimately were spaces like this.
I know we know this, but now it's on paper. Now it's real. Nat Geo just released an article regarding a psychologist who was studying the effects of traumatic events being shown on media, social media, whatever. Sure. It's not looking good. With regard to traumatic events such as 9/11, the Boston Marathon, and Charlie Kirk, people who consumed that content on social media, where it's more unregulated compared to newspaper or broadcast news, were more likely to experience symptoms of PTSD. And if you can...
That's what I was saying. Part of the problem is that you can make obstacles so children don't go into adult websites. It's not as easy to make obstacles to prevent adults going to children websites. Yeah. I don't know. Like, just... I don't know. I've done short scrolling a couple of times. It never stuck. It's fun for a while, but I ended up going back to long form for whatever reason. Well, I just like having background noise, right? And I don't want it to, like... I don't want to have to, like, skip garbage that I don't want to listen to. If I chuck on, like, a 50-minute video as I'm, you know, making some food or something, I don't have to think about that.
Consumed more than 6 hours of that type of content per day, you experience symptoms who consumed that. It's not looking good. With regard to traumatic events such as 9/11, the Boston Marathon, and Charlie Kirk, people who consumed that content on social media, where it's more unregulated compared to newspaper or broadcast news, were more likely to experience symptoms of PTSD. And if you consumed more than 6 hours of that type of content per day...
Who the fuck is watching 6 hours of, like, assassination videos, beheadings? Like, what fucking psycho algorithm do you have? What's up with the Boston Marathon? Do you not remember the Boston Marathon bombing? What year was that? Does anyone know? I don't remember the year. Boston Marathon bombing. 2013. 2013 was the Boston Marathon bombing.
You also were more stressed out than the people who were at those events. This is what people mean when they say we're not supposed to know the world's problems in a device that fits in our pocket. Because that's what doomscrolling...
That's actually a good way to put it. There's a lot of people that live in, like, you know, some random city in America, and their entire day is spent arguing with people about problems happening. You know, pick your war, right? Pick whichever war you feel like making your personal issue. It's like people will argue about this all day. And yeah, obviously I have empathy for the people involved in it. But at the same time, you're just some random dude arguing on Twitter. You're not actually achieving anything. You're just like making yourself stressed about something that doesn't actually directly affect you.
You see a traumatic event happen, and then you start scrolling to find more details about it. And in the process of scrolling to find more details, another traumatic event pops up on your feed because the algorithm is so good at understanding what you want to watch. So now you're looking for...
This is what I was saying before about anime titties. This was yesterday. If you want to stop being stressed on social media, just go and like some videos, some pictures of anime titties. And the algorithm will say, this man wants to see, or lady, I don't know if you like anime titties, whoever likes anime titties, go like some videos and pictures of anime titties, and you will stop seeing anything besides anime titties. Now, this works with anything else, right? If you want to see, like, cat videos, for example, I don't know, you like seeing videos of cats being morons. Oh, look at this cat. It tried to jump, and it missed the jump, and it fell. Oh, that's so funny. Oh, look, this cat, it tried to catch the bird, but the bird flew away. Oh, that's so funny. Oh, this dog tried to, like, bite at the bigger dog, and then the bigger dog growled at it, and then the little dog ran away. Oh, that's so cute. See, if you just like some videos like that, that's all it's going to show you. That's literally all it's going to show you. The algorithm is incredibly good at showing you what you want to see. If you engage with, like, dark, toxic content, it'll happily show that to you.
The finishing of that one, because you're trying to deal with the trauma of what's going on, and you're trying to see if it was resolved, if it's unresolved, if there's any more details, and it creates the doom scroll. And then what happens is, because you're creating that cycle, when you're not on your phone, when something traumatic happens, if you hear about it from a friend or on TV, your immediate reaction is to go on your phone and keep the cycle going.
The way this has changed our lifestyles is staggering. If you look at any graph showing how often people spend time with friends, they all shoot down. It's staggering. If you look at
minutes per day, spend time with friends, minutes per day, man, yeah.
Any graph showing how often people spend time with friends, they all shoot down significantly starting in the late 2010s, and the time Americans spend alone has shot up with it. And
and post-COVID, people haven't actually recovered from that entirely.
It's not just because social media is incredibly addictive and
I think this is a kind of a relevant point. There were a lot of people that were living normal lives pre-COVID. They used the internet, they maybe had a Facebook account and other things like that, but they weren't really online, right? You know, you've probably met these people where back in, like, 2018, 2019, they had social media accounts, but they weren't like social media addicts. But then when COVID happened, when they were locked inside for a long time, a lot of people who otherwise had a fairly healthy relationship with social media suddenly had nothing better to do. They weren't at work, they didn't have any hobbies, or if they did have hobbies, they couldn't do the hobbies because they weren't allowed to do them. But yeah, a lot of normies discovered not discovered, but really engrossed themselves in the internet. I know it's definitely it's 100. This is not like I'm not gonna like debate this point because it's 100% the case. Twitch viewers, yeah. Let me show you the graph. Like this is not a point to debate. Like this is a fact of reality. This is the Twitch viewership. It was steadily growing, and then COVID happened, and then suddenly the platform almost doubled in size. Like a lot of people suddenly started using the internet just more actively using the internet out of nowhere. It slowly trended back downwards again, but a lot of people, like, it hasn't returned to where it was, right? Like, it grew and then stayed higher. It accelerated the growth, exactly. These people are going to join the internet in, 10, 15 years. It just sped them up. It just sped them up like a decade.
Stimulating, and most of our jobs require online work now. It's also because, and this is the most important point related to this video, that most people, I'd argue, feel like they simply just don't have enough time to dedicate to anything else. We don't necessarily work more on the clock, but we work after hours while our bosses keep pinging us on Microsoft Teams.
Just don't respond. We have, in Australia, we have the right to disconnect. I don't know about whatever country you live in, but we have laws here. If your boss sends you a message outside of work hours, that's their problem. That's fuck. Unless you're specifically working a job where you're on call, like you're a nurse or like a doctor, you're a firefighter, you're an on-call mechanic. Like, yeah, there are obviously jobs where you have to respond, but if you're just like a dude that works in an office, you have the right to disconnect.
We have longer commutes, and most of the third places, aka places outside of work and home to hang out with other people, that do exist either cost a lot of money or aren't really designed to make friends in.
Yeah, I have a family friend who is a on-call diesel mechanic. He works for like a trucking company. So if they call him to come repair a truck, then he comes and repairs the truck. There's like certain times where obviously he's like fully off. But there are times where he's not at work, but he's still technically able to be called in. But yeah, if you're just like a regular office worker, no, don't. You don't have to, for the most part.
These are things I've talked about in great length, so if you want to hear about those things specifically, like third places and work...
Yeah, the assumption of always available. This is one of those things I really don't like about modern communication apps. So, this is what I like. I don't like email a ton, and I don't like SMS a ton, but what I do like about them is not knowing if a person is around, right? Like, if you send someone a message on Discord, and there's a green bubble next to your name, and they don't respond immediately, right? It can be very easy to say, well, why are they not responding to me? Right? But that's normal. It's normal to not... like, the getting a response instantly from someone you send a message to, that's only a thing in maybe the past, 25, 30 years? And that's even pushing it, because a lot of people weren't on the internet in the early 90s. Maybe the past, for most people, maybe the past 15 years.
Over our lives, I'll leave some links in the description of this video. So we've gone from book literacy as a sign of status to cool tech literacy as a sign of status, but since corporations have sucked all the coolness out of technology, the question is, what comes next? Well, the only thing I can see naturally developing out of a world that demands you stay locked into your devices is to become perpetually locked out. In other words, touching grass is becoming the new cool. To elaborate,
it's not even necessarily being locked out, but there is this, like, there are people that like the idea of dumb phones. Like, there are people that will buy like a phone like this, for example, where it's inconvenient to respond to someone. Like, you can, and yeah, there's apps and stuff, but, like, it's not pleasant to use.
Ask you this, what were the defining characteristics of wealth and status in the past beyond just literacy? Well, firstly, it was being able to do something most people couldn't do that was going to be the next big thing before it was the next big thing. Another characteristic was having the leisure time available to partake in that thing. And the last key characteristic was having the intelligence to be able to do those things before most people could. If you examine what being outside and unplugged from social media is like today, it follows all of those characteristics. Like I said, most people nowadays are living in constant fear of being left behind in a world that's moving faster than we can comprehend.
Yeah, it's like, I always want to make sure I'm up to date on what is happening in geopolitics and what, like, when my housemate comes home, he usually is like, hey, here's this, like, thing that's happening in Australian politics. I'm like, I don't know. I don't care. Yeah.
Before you can even get settled in a software or job role, that role has evolved into 10 different roles, and the software has gone through loads of updates. Before one trend or story goes viral, the next has already gone viral.
Exactly,
and many feel like this is stuff you need to understand or know in order to fit in with our...
Like, do you know the latest meme, right? Like, if, you know, by the time I hear about some, like, TikTok meme, it's probably dead, right? By the time I hear, like, you know, by the time I heard about people saying 6, 7, people had probably moved on to the next thing.
Generation. To not have to keep up with the pace of the world, to be able to log off and spend loads of time outside or doing hobbies unrelated to the internet almost implies that you've either achieved enough wealth to no longer be caught in the rat race, or that you simply just don't care about knowing online trends and don't care what others are thinking. Either way, these are both extremely attractive, cool qualities. You know, I heard something interesting from Chris Williamson from the Modern Wisdom podcast. He was talking about how in the past, if you had a hobby that like wasn't related to tech maybe or something within the cool sphere at that time, it was kind of seen as like weird.
Well, for a long time, there was this grind set mentality, and it's kind of died out now. But do you guys remember... It was probably ever since, originally it was kind of memed on, right? The like here in my garage thing with the Ty Lopez thing. This was originally like haha funny meme. He's saying something stupid, but like for a long time, I'll just play it.
Here in my garage, just bought this new Lamborghini here. It's fun to drive up here in the Hollywood Hills. But you know what I like a lot more than materialistic things? Knowledge. But there was this, for like a while, there was this like mindset of if you're not doing something productive with your time, if you're not learning, if you're not building a business, you're not investing, you're just wasting time. And that's kind of died down now, but for quite a while, that was like the cool meta thing. It's like, ooh, look at this guy. He's got like, you know, I wake up at 4 a.m. I take an ice cold shower. I go to work at 6 a.m. I work till 9 p.m. We all remember this being a thing. And that's kind of gone away. Because I think a lot of people realized that, well, a lot of it was fake, firstly. But working more doesn't make you more interesting. It's not fun. It's not even fun. It's not fulfilling, right? I don't think everything has to be fun. Everything has to be enjoyable. But are you getting fulfilled by what you're doing? Does this give your life meaning? Or are you just, you know, pursuing materialism, pursuing wealth? And obviously wealth is important because you need to like pay for rent and stuff. But once you hit a certain threshold, like, you know, at a certain threshold, that doesn't make you any more fulfilled. It doesn't improve your life. There's more to life than just that. You want to focus on that which remains important and you can build on.
But now if you have like a physical hobby where you're doing physical things, whatever it is that might have been seen as weird or nerdy in the past, you're basically like automatically seen as like, whoa, that's a cool guy, because you have the time to dedicate to something that isn't related to the internet or social media. And automatically people think, well, this person's got something. There's something different about them. And on top of that,
even just something simple like going to the gym, which I know I need to do more of. But like even just that, it's like, you know, you go to the gym and it's like it's a simple thing. But a lot of people say I just don't have time to do so. You probably have time unless you're working like 18 hours a day. But you just don't want to. You fill your time with other things. The void can be filled by anything that comes along, whether that be scrolling shorts or anything else like that.
To have the mental fortitude to not be addicted to the internet or video games or any of these things that are now designed to keep you hooked on them forever signals an outstanding amount of these things. Well, this person's got something. There's something different about them. And on top of that, to have the mental fortitude to not be addicted to the internet or video games or any of these things that are now designed to keep you hooked on them forever signals an outstanding amount of discipline and work done on yourself, which is also cool. While everyone else is scrambling to stay focused for more than a few minutes without pulling out their phone, if you can touch grass and focus on analog items like notebooks, books, e-ink, or other physical hobbies, it shows you have, in a way, mastered yourself. And who wouldn't want to hang out with a person like that? And in an era where literacy rates are declining, why wouldn't
the children are fucking stupid?
That signal intelligence and coolness? So this is why I say being chronically offline is going to become the new cool.
I saw this thing the other day. Someone was in a Battlefield 6 lobby, and one of their team members were like, I don't know how to say this word. And obviously the guy, he didn't know what word was on his screen, so he got the guy to spell out the word. G-R-E-N-A-D-E. Keep in mind, this was in a Battlefield lobby. This guy, this like 16, 17-year-old kid, I like how you don't even know the letters I said. I spelt out grenade. Did I not? Did I have a was that a dyslexia moment? G-R-E-N-A-D-E. That's what I'm pretty sure that's what I said. That's what I thought I said. Maybe we had a dyslexia moment. No, you spelled it right. Okay, Baba just had a dyslexia moment. Okay. Yeah, this was in a Battlefield lobby, and the kid didn't know how to say the word grenade. Like, it's one thing to, like, you know, to, like, have never seen the word before. But, like, you're literally playing a first-person shooter, and you don't know what a grenade is. You don't know how to say the word. And the kid said, so the guy said, hey, do you even know how to read? He said he knows how to read, but he only knows words he's seen before. So you don't, like, you've memorized patterns of words or patterns of letters. You don't actually know how to read. And, like, this is just one instance, right? But, like, there are legitimately people out there who are either young adults or actually a full adult who don't know how to read in a first world country.
Though it doesn't seem like it yet, because everyone's still using their smartphones basically all the time, I believe...
That's how English is taught in the US. Look it up, full-on memorization. I have heard about this, yeah. Like, you guys just... The way you teach people how to read just doesn't make any sense.
We're going to experience a divergence soon. One that mimics the separation between the literate rich and the illiterate poor of centuries past. Everyone that cannot either accumulate enough wealth to afford being offline for long periods at a time, or have the mental discipline to deal with a lack of stimulation, will become even more wired in than they are now. When VR and augmented reality and AI becomes more and more advanced,
this guy's obviously like is like a streamer, but this is unironically how my housemate plays games. Except there would be, this monitor here would be RuneScape. This is whatever his main monitor is. Then there'll be like a Twitch stream up here, and probably another Twitch stream here. Yes, he watches 2 Twitch streams at the same time. I don't know how he does it.
These people will start spending almost every waking minute in a virtual world. Conversely, everyone that conquers these things will become the new cool kids, the ones who can do the peaceful, less stimulating things that most can't. In fact, I think we're already seeing this to some extent, and if you're wondering how you can become more chronically offline, listen to this part. I don't know about you, but I feel like I've been seeing way more videos about returning to analog gaming, like using Game Boys or Nintendo DS's or emulate.
I understand not getting one of those, but like, because, you know, fucking, retro hardware is expensive, right? Retro games are expensive. But, like, there are devices like this, for example. And, like, this is a modern DS-like device. Getting some, like, you know, trying out something like this.
Through the Steam Deck. Being off the grid and private instead of having a massive following is its own sense of status in and of itself, too.
A lot of these keep in mind, a lot of these off-the-grid channels are fake.
And then, of course, the classic reading. Reading is kind of becoming the new Flash games of the late 2020s. People who actually have the attention span to sit through and finish entire books are being portrayed as possessing high levels of intelligence or status as well.
Yeah, ironically through social media. Emulators.
But if social media has to be the medium through which people see how cool it is to...
Left ear Hassan Piker, right ear Asmongold. Yeah, that's how you become a peak centrist.
To not know everything, to not be tapped in, and to spend more of your free time on things that don't require you to stare at a screen, then I'm fine with that for now. Honestly, I'm really hopeful for the future. I know I said that there's a subset of people who are going to become even more digitized and wired in than they are now, but I also believe that that subset of people who are tapping out and locking out and realizing how great it is to just be disconnected from the online world.
Well, the other thing is the sun is nice. It's nice to be outside. Like, this might not be a thing you think about that much, but, like, it's actually pleasant to be outside. Imagine that.
Is growing along with it, and if you're watching this video, chances are you're one of them. There is so much working against you to keep you from...
Maybe not yesterday. Yesterday was 36 degrees Celsius. I don't know if there's any Americans here. That is, what is that in freedom units? That is 97.
The joys of destimulation and slowness, but if you can do even the smallest thing to work against that friction, you are in the process of mastering the self and leading the chronically offline revolution. Ditch the streaming services for physical copies. Play retro games. Read long, difficult texts. Ditch the streaming services for physical copies. Play...
what is that? That's the RPG where Toriyama did the art. Fuck, I'm blanking on the name. Chrono Trigger? Chrono Trigger sounds right. Yeah, thought so. Yeah.
Retro games. Read long, difficult texts, and use an e-ink device without internet if that helps you. Start building or crafting stuff. Join a club even if the commute is 30 minutes away. Continue revolting against the forces that want to keep you docile, unhealthy, uninspired, and unhappy.
No, the other RPG that Toriyama did the art, not Dragon Quest.
And lock out as much as you can, even if you feel like you're not in a position to do so. Then influence other people around you to do the same, and watch how being chronically offline becomes the new cool. I'd love to hear some of the ways in which you love being chronically offline in the comments. This is usually where I tell you to watch another one of my videos.
Be chronically offline. Go engage in my comment section.
Way too hypocritical for this video. So instead, log off, lock out, go do some fun thing that isn't tied to the online world.
Well, you want to know who Asmongold was? There he is. There's Brodie himself. That was a really good video. I basically agree with everything this dude said here. Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know what to say, right? It's that I need to get out more. I think we all need to get out more. Go outside, enjoy the sunlight, go places. You don't have to go out and spend money, but go places and enjoy the world, enjoy your life. And it's fine to enjoy things inside as well. It's fine to have tech-based hobbies, but a tech-based hobby that isn't, it's not it's fine to play video games, but the older I get, the harder I find it to play a game where it's league-based, you're doing the same thing over and over again, right? Offline, right now I'm playing, Where is it? Where's my Steam client? Ugh. Random shiver. Right now offline, I am playing through, where is it? Trails in the Sky SC. It's a great game. It's a phenomenal game. But, like, I just can't bring myself to play games like Marvel Rivals right now, or, like, Path of Exile even. The latest League just, like, completely threw me out of it. If I'm gonna play a game, I want to play something where it feels like I'm actually, like, I'm getting somewhere. I'm progressing to a thing. Those PvP multiplayer games just suck the soul out of me. Yeah, I get it. I do get it. This is a good video. I basically, as I said, I basically agree with everything this guy said. I think we'll watch one more for the day, and that will probably be the end of it. It's not going to be the fucking Lunduk video, though.